Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another of our Business Connected workshops. My name is Carla, and I will be your host for today's session. I'm joined today by Jeremy Mason, who is going to deliver a session about how to create videos for YouTube that attract customers. But before we go into his session, I wanted to let everyone know more about the Business Connected program, which this session is a part of. Enterprise Nation have partnered with Vodafone Business to equip 800,000 small businesses over the next 3 years with different digital skills. The program is also supported by digital partners Samsung, Sage, and Sim. And for those who are listening us live, you can visit Business Connected to check out our e-learning, lunch and learns, and other workshops as this one. And I will be putting the link to the program into the chat box. But on today's session, leading on how to create videos for YouTube that attract customers, is Jeremy Mason, and he's a Business Connected advisor. He's going to do a presentation for about 20-25 minutes, and then we will answer some of your questions. We like to make these webinars interactive, so please do post any questions or comments in the chat box. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, who you are and what your business is. And do not forget, we will send a recording afterwards. And you can also connect with Jeremy on Enterprise Nation, and I will put in that link into the chat box. That's all for now, and I will leave Jeremy to give his presentation.
Ladies and gents, thanks so much for investing your time with us today, this morning. I really hope you get absolutely stacks of value from this presentation. As Carla said, I want this to be as interactive as possible, so let's light up the old chat box. Any questions as you go through? Now, listen, obviously, I've got 25 minutes, half an hour to kind of skirt across some fairly technical bits and bobs, but at the end of the day, my priority for you is that you go away from this session actually with some action points, and that if you've had any particular sticking points in terms of video, in terms of the elements we're talking about, i.e. the 4 pillars of effective video, and also some keyword research I'm going to go into, which is really, really critical when it comes to actually identifying what your target audience actually is searching for in real time on Google, and you can then use a similar technique on YouTube as well. So the point there is that you are creating video content that people are actually looking for. It's not us as video creators, business video creators, guessing what we think people might like to watch. We are actually basing our content creation on actual hard data, which is the only real way to do it if you want to succeed with it ultimately. Sarah Taylor Robinson, hello. I'm glad you're very pleased to be here. I'm also very pleased to be here. I'd love to know actually in the chat 2 things. Firstly, have you done any video type of stuff before? And if you have, was it a success or not? I mean, you can be as honest as you want to be with that regard. And also what I'm really keen to know about in terms of from my perspective as someone who spends their working life helping business owners create effective video and effectively coaching people and guiding people through the process. I want to know from you what your sticking points are, because I will then go away and create content around that. And things like this webinar, you know, it's all very well, like I say, it's very well for me to guess at what your issues are, but actually I want you guys to inform me so that I can create stuff for you that will genuinely help you on your video creating journey. Right, it's not about me, you know, it's never about us as video creators, it's always about our audience, it's all about you guys. So who am I? And why, frankly, should you bother listening to me? Well, listen, because I'm nice. No, that doesn't cut it. 25 plus years in UK broadcast TV, ladies and gentlemen, as a lighting cameraman, producer and DP, director of photography. 18 years now as a business owner. 10 years of that, I ran a photographic company that started as a side hustle because I love photography and ended up being a 6-figure business. It was a wedding photography business. We had to, in the end, you know, life moves on. We had a daughter, weekends, blah, blah, blah. So we had to, in the end, stop doing so many weddings. And so that's kind of, we've stopped that now. I'm also a qualified digital marketer. And I work with people obviously like the lovely Enterprise Nation, who are an amazing community of real go-getter startup entrepreneur business owners who I love interacting with. FSB, again, great bunch of people. IPSI, which are freelance people, and also the City of London Small Business Research and Enterprise Centre. Basically, all these organisations I love working with, who are all about, at their core, it's all about inspiring and helping people to create businesses, because Lord only knows that is the way I believe we, you know, for us as a country to get out of the situation we are in. And as part of that, we need to tell people more broadly as business owners what we do. And the whole question is, how do you sort of stand on the roof, metaphorically speaking, and shout from the rooftops what you do? That's where video comes in, and that's why I'm super passionate about this, because a few years ago it was so hard to get to create video. It was very expensive, you know, needed very expensive kit. Editing stuff was really expensive. It, you know, it would cost tens of thousands of pounds. Now, that is no longer the case, as I'm sure you're aware. We've got phones with cameras on that are HD. Some of them are even 4K. It's so easy now to create videos by ourselves. And also there's a plethora of software out there to make things like editing, you know, this sort of bottlenecks normally that would be within the production process now are being ironed out almost on a sort of 6 monthly, yearly basis. There's new kind of platforms that are coming out, making the whole process so easy. But, and this is a big but, the trouble is there's an awful lot of noise out there on the internet, and I'm sure you're well aware of it. If you've tried to do any kind of social media posting, it's a bit like the Wild West, and B, it's a very easy thing to spend absolutely tons of time on creating content that no one then sees. So the critical thing is to really zero in, rather than, like me a bit, get excited, start making videos and popping them out and then realizing, hang on, no one's actually watching them. You need to be very intentional and very strategic about what you create, where you show it, for a start, if depending on who you're wanting your audience, you know, who your audience is. You know, and this all kind of links back into creating videos that are successful, that will ultimately attract customers. So the whole point is you've got to make video content that is about and for them. By them, I mean your audience. You've got to answer their specific questions. Don't talk in generalities, because chances are, if you're talking in generalities, there's a million other videos that have done that already. So because there's so much noise, because there's so much content out there, it really is a case nowadays, particularly on YouTube, of really niching down, okay, being very specific. I don't know, if I'm an accountant and I work on Xero, I might do a series of how to Xero videos, or, you know, and it can be as specific as you know, how to post. This is getting very dodgy ground now, because I don't use Xero and I'm not an accountant. But anyway, bear with me. You know, it can be, you know, some kind of functionality within Xero as a software package, showing people how to do something. Okay, how-to videos, generally, taking a step back, are one of the sort of easiest and most effective kind of videos to make for YouTube. Because guess what? YouTube and Google owns YouTube, by the way. They are search engines. Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, all of that, they're social media. People don't, oh, okay, people do ask questions, but that's not why they're there. They are social platforms. The bonus from business owning perspective is, with Google and YouTube, is that you've got people who are asking questions. Us as business owners, we can answer those questions, we can help those people, and we can start a relationship with those people, and over time transform them from browsers into buyers. And that is the whole point. Obviously it doesn't happen overnight, so don't expect this to happen overnight. This is a long game, and this is why you need to be strategic and honest with yourself. You need to set yourself goals, which we'll come on to in a minute, when it comes to the 4 kind of pillars of video, successful video creation. You need to set yourself goals. You need to be very sort of disciplined with yourself, I suppose. You also need, you know, to resonate with people on a human level. I know this is online, I know this is virtual, but we're still starting a relationship. This is still a conversation that's happening in real life, even though it's online. And I think sometimes people forget that. And particularly, you know, because you can now market one, i.e. me, to many, people forget that. And this is something that we should never forget as content creators. And I've had an experience recently where it really brought home to me that actually the people that I'm talking to, I've got an email list. That's something that if you haven't got already, that you should look to build. Email lists, a community of people that you communicate, your existing customers and people who are interested in doing what you're what you offer. Start creating. I mean, again, this is probably one of a list of things you probably need to do if you're just starting out, but it is a really core thing. If you've got a group of people, if you've got a list, you can then market to those people, you can keep in touch with those people, and ultimately usher them from being browsers into being buyers. Anyway, the point of the story is that very recently I've been through a bit of a rocky period, personally speaking, and I was launching a product and I had to not launch that product because I was going through various different things. Sadly, I lost my my mother-in-law, and also my daughter had to go in for a major op in the hospital. And it was a massive wake-up call for me as a digital marketer, because I basically obviously had to, communicate with these people, say, listen, I'm not going to be running the course when I thought I was, blah, blah, blah. And the amount of good vibes and good wishes and love that came back from me was a real wake-up call, frankly. And it is an object lesson in the humanity behind all of this tech. Okay, this is a great vehicle, but ultimately what we're doing is communicating. What we're doing is building rapport and starting that relationship. Okay, so don't ever forget that this is not just about sausage factory content creation, smashing it out there and forgetting about it. This is about genuinely fostering real relationships with actual people that will then become, clients for life. That's what you want to end up with, I believe, because as business owners, I believe we're there to serve people. Ultimately as well, you're wanting to create video content that helps people get to where they want to go. And this sort of little diagram, I think, illustrates it quite nicely. We need to ask ourselves, how can we best help our target audience? Because they will have, and as a business owner, you'll have people come to you and there will be a list, I'm sure, over a period of time, a list of stuff that people ask you, the questions that they always ask you about whatever it is you do. And there'll be themes to the issues that they have. Now, the thing you need to do when it comes to creating video content, and actually, to be honest, blogs and anything else, is how can you help people? You need to really empathize with the position, that before state, it's called, where they're in a problem, they don't know what to do, they might feel frustrated, angry even, they might be giving up hope, whatever it is. So whatever the issues are, you need to think about getting the mindset of that before state. When you're in that mindset, you can really empathize with your audience. And then obviously, knowing what you know and your experience and skills and whatnot, you then can offer them something that is effectively that red arrow and gets them to their after state where they've resolved that particular issue. Okay, because ultimately people don't buy products or services. What they're actually buying are transformations or outcomes. Now, that's as true for a razor as it is for coaching services, for example. It's obviously just on different scales, but they're all, this notion that someone's, has a before state, has an issue they want to resolve, and then there's a product or service that they need, or they identify that they need, and then there's an after state, and the effectively the distance of that transformation, the size of that transformation is then obviously that dictates the kind of value of it. So obviously, if you've changed your life through coaching, that's a massive transformation. Therefore, likely it's going to cost a lot of money. A razor, obviously, I've shaved, I've got lovely smooth skin. Less of still a nice transformation, but less of one, if you see what I mean. Anyway, so this is the thing with your audience. You need to really, really get in their headspace. You need to really invest time in understanding who they are and where they are, physically, obviously online, but also mentally in their headspace. So invest time in profiling and understanding your audience. The person who understands the audience most will create the best content for them. It's just a fact. And as I say before, never forget these are actual humans. They're not just numbers. It's not just a graph. There are actual humans. And so be human when you're engaging online, and I think that is being lost to a large degree. And actually the content that's doing the best is stuff that is honest and real. certainly on YouTube. People are so over Instagram fakeness, PR spin, and all of that stuff. Actually, the stuff that does really well is honest and real. Also, if you've not quite got the fact that I've labored this point in most of my webinars, to be fair, your audience really does need to be front and center of everything you do. And by audience, you're also talking about your existing customers too, right? So, you know, I believe, like I said before, that us as businesses and business owners, we are here to serve our customers. That's what we're about. Without them, we're nothing. We don't have a business, right? So that's what I really firmly believe we're about. And therefore, by extension, when we're creating marketing material and when we're creating content, it needs to be helpful. It needs to be full of value to help our audience. So create a client persona and customer avatar. Now, I've actually got something. If you'd like, I've got a worksheet that allows you, that asks lots of questions and is a good starter for 10 when it comes to doing this piece of work. If you'd like me to send you that little worksheet, I'm very happy to, but for the sake of brevity, because, you know, I've only got 25 odd minutes, ping me put your email address in the chat now and yes or something, so I know that you'd like me to send you that worksheet, and I'll do that after we finished this session. As I say, it's all about fostering that connection and building that connection. People want authenticity and humanity. So be genuine, be open, be honest, and ultimately, just as in life, people will connect with you on a much deeper level. And part of that whole thing is investing time in uncovering your why. What is it that drives you as a business owner? What gets you up in the morning? And the answer is not an alarm or a dog or a cat or a kid, all right? Why do you do what you do? You really need to get to the essence, the DNA of your business. What excites you? What gives you that buzz, right? That's what you want to communicate, because that is unique to you. And that almost in a slightly sort of corporate way, that's what your USP is, right? If you've not seen this before, I think, for me, it was a game changer. It was a real light bulb moment. This is called the Golden Circle. It was come up with a guy called Simon Sinek. I would suggest you look at him on YouTube if you've never heard of him before. Follow him on all the socials. I think he's amazing. He speaks a lot of truth, I think, as I see it. Building genuine relationships with your audience is a long game, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. So invest for the long term. That's why you need to be creating video content, uploading content to YouTube on a long-term basis. No one will do anything on YouTube after 3 or 4 videos. You're talking 30, 40, 60, 100, 500 videos before you start to get real traction at 500. But, you know, that's the kind of orders of magnitude you're talking. So you need to be patient, but you also need to be not trying to game the algorithm, not trying to think, don't go into it. It's just my view. Don't go into it thinking I want to make loads of money off of YouTube, because that will not happen. Certainly not initially. Okay, you need to be there, I believe, almost with a pure, this might sound a bit naive, but it's much easier to create content when you feel like you're doing something good for other people, rather than trying to do it for a selfish reason. I want to, you know, because then when no one watches it, you take it really personally. Whereas, you know, the fact that we're on a long journey and I've been creating what, 150 odd videos, and, you know, it's going very well. It's doing good things for my business. But I'm certainly not a millionaire off the back of it, but that's not what I'm doing it for. Do you see what I mean? It's a difference. If I was all about the cash and wanted to become internet famous, I would be crushed with disappointment. Anyway, back to the Golden Circle. The point is, definitely look him up, right? Most businesses, in fact, 99.9% of business know what they do. Okay, I'm a plumber, an accountant, whatever it is, coach, whatever. And a lot of people, but on a sliding scale, let's say, I'm making this up, 60%, let's say, know how they do it. And they communicate that in their marketing, and that's all fine. Okay. But then how you do it is, you know, replicable, easy for me to say. You know, that's not necessarily going to be unique, because an accountant might use the same software as another accountant. You know, there's only so many ways of skinning the accountancy cat, if that's not a too grosser thing. But you go into these are layers of the onion. Right in the middle, there's why you do it, your passion, like I was saying. Why do you get up in the morning? Why are you excited? What gives you that buzz? If you and you need to invest time and think about this, and it's not something that will just come to you necessarily. Certainly for me, it was a journey, as they say in TV land. It took me a while, but you just got to think about, ponder this, right? And just note stuff down as the thoughts occur to you on a walk or whatever you're doing, on a school run, whatever. Just think about why you do what you do, and start communicating with that in mind. Start articulating that, because that will be unique to you, and that is what people resonate with. People buy why you do what you do, not what you do. So what are the first, this is actually something from a previous presentation, but I thought it was really apposite for today. What are the first things that business owners should think about when formulating a video marketing strategy? Again, it's all about the audience. Who do we serve? Where do they live online? How can we help them? What problems can we solve? What issues can we resolve? And what do we need in our business, the goal side of it, okay? These are the 4 pillars of effective video. The goals. What do we need? Is it about getting new customers in, which is obviously what we're talking about today? Or is it that I want to raise my profile so that I can get on the speaking circuit? Is it that we want to increase transaction value? So we want people to spend more when they're with us. All sorts of things can be really good video goals. There's hundreds of them. But the point is, you need to be intentional when you're creating your video. So don't just create something and then go, oh, you need to think, what do we need? And that will determine what kind of videos you produce. Audience, like I said before, who are you talking to? The investment in time and money. So client lifetime value. What is a new client worth to you? How long are they with you? How much do they spend with you? That will then determine how much time and money is worth you investing in marketing activities. If you don't do that, and you don't really know that kind of figure, and you don't know what people bring to your business's bottom line, then how are you going to know if it's worth you splashing out 5 grand on a video or 10 grand on a puff piece in a magazine or whatever? You're not. This is ultimately commercial in the sense that it's got to bring in some money at the end of the day. The people that you talk to, the relationship you foster, it's about giving all your the help and the information and support. And then what will happen with that great law of reciprocity is that eventually some of those, but not all of them, some people will choose to do business with you because they like the cut of your jib, because you've helped them out. Okay, so you just need to be aware of that and not lose sight of that. And the customer journey point, so that's more like the customer flow. When you start creating videos, what point are they? Awareness videos? There's a thing called a video funnel. This is, again, all quite involved stuff, but these are all factors that you need to consider if you're wanting to produce effective video. So quickly, let's go through what kind of data can we very quickly and for free get just from looking at Google. Google's great because you can see real search data with a plugin, which I'm going to share with you in a second. Don't forget, guys, you're going to get these slides, and this is obviously being recorded, so you can scoot back and note down the links and whatnot next. But you can see what's ranking well for the particular search term, your particular niche, and go and have a look now after this in your niche. Just do some niche research. Have a look at what other people are doing in your space. Use it as inspiration, but do not copy. And ask yourself, how can I do that better? What does better mean? Well, better means either quicker or shorter. And obviously I'm talking about the video side of things here. And again, this is why YouTube is so powerful, because those videos that you see on the search return on the left-hand side there, those are things that, if you're putting stuff on YouTube and they rank for those particular search terms, that's where they'll be appearing on Google search return, and that's page 1 for video marketing. So Marketing 360, they created that video a long time ago, actually 3-4 years ago, and it's on page 1 of Google. Now just imagine how long and how much money you'd have to spend on SEO, search engine optimization, to get yourself on page 1 of Google for something that actually that's a very, very wide search term. So I would suggest you go after those particular search terms. But actually, in more specificity, how do we work out what the audience is actually wanting to look for. So how do you research your niche? Well, you use something called Google Predictive, and YouTube has a similar thing. This is a little plugin that you need. So go to neilpatel.com/ubersuggest, or just Google Ubersuggest. There is a paid for version of it, but there is a free version. It's really powerful. And basically, what happens, obviously, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you type a search term into Google, it auto completes. And then you get this drop down here on the left that you can see: how to complete a tax return, how to complete a tax return online for a rental property. These are the niches, and also that data, that stuff that people are actually looking for. So how about, here's a controversial thing, how about creating video content around those specific questions? Because we want to answer our audience's specific questions. That's how you can start finding out what specific questions people are asking rather, I should say. And then up here, you've got monthly searches. Now that happens when you install Ubersuggest it's a Chrome extension, it's called. It's very easy. Google it. There's lots of yes, Answer the Public, Gussie is saying, is a very good tool as well. That's other questions. So that's a definite, use this and then go and use answerthepublic.com. I think on answerthepublic.com you have you can ask three or you can type in 3 niches a day, and then you need to wait a day. There's obviously a paid version, but it's a very good way of delving deeper into the sort of search mindset of your potential customers and clients. Right, so back to this, on Ubersuggest, you then get this data. So it tells you monthly searches. You can set this up for global, US, UK, wherever wherever your market is. So monthly searches 30. Okay, not great, but this would say to me it's not a particularly competitive niche, actually, if there's only 30 people searching it. So as someone starting out, you don't want to go for the niches everyone else is going for, because clearly it's an absolute ton of competition. You want to be going for these longer search terms, these very, very specific forms of words. And by the way, those forms of words should be the titles of your videos, okay? Because what you want to happen is, how to complete, this is a bit morbid, how to complete a tax return for a deceased person. Create a video about that, so that eventually, if there aren't that many videos about that particular topic, whenever someone types that search term in, ping, your video pings up. Now, obviously, you need to create lots of these videos with very specific search terms, but imagine you've got 30, 40, 50 of these videos all answering aligned but different forms of words, questions. Suddenly it's an aggregate thing. The results will aggregate, and you'll start to notice that you're getting more and more traffic and hopefully more and more inquiries as a result. You'll certainly be building up more kind of expertise in the eyes of Google and YouTube. Obviously, look at this. People also ask, okay, another, how do you fill out a tax return? And you go into that, copy and paste that, do the same process for that too. It's an amazing and free thing that you should be doing straight after this. So anyway, Ubersuggest as well gives you a keyword, other search terms. So between just Answer the Public, Maxine saying, do you mean it's better to do 30 videos for the same form of words? I don't mean that. What I mean is you probably would need, if it's a very long and very niche like that, doing a deceased tax return type thing, I would probably do 2 or 3 videos on that. But what I'm talking about is then you go to the people also asked, and you also scoot across to answerthepublic.com and have a look at the forms of words, because they scrape not just from Google, but from all sorts of different sources. So you're getting another, eye on what people are searching for. And they all need to be aligned. So obviously what you don't want is 3 videos about tax returns and then 5 videos on diggers, right? Do you know what I mean? It needs to be in the same target area. It needs to be aligned. It needs to be relevant to, Google needs to see, that you're a specialist in what you do. So look at the search volume, loads of searches. So how to fix a dripping tap. Oh, that says UK only, this one, 3,600. Also, notice here, CPC, cost per click. People are advertising against certain of these keywords. That means that the keywords are obviously getting good traffic, qualified traffic, traffic that's converting. Otherwise, why would they be advertising against them? So again, it's a balance between volume and commercial intent, i.e., are people advertising against it? I mean, okay, so how to fix a dripping tap in a bathtub? No CPC, 50 people. I mean, that might be worth doing, but then actually, how to fix a dripping tap UK, much better, because people are paying not very much per ad, but they are paying for ads. So obviously the traffic that one generates it converts. But yeah, so if you've got lots of search volume, you're going to be competing against lots of people. And also the higher authority you need to be, i.e. the more established in YouTube and Google's eyes you need to be before they'll pop you on page one. So like we're saying, look for commercial intent. Are people bidding against the keyword phrase for advertising? And as a starting point, like I said before, begin with target key phrases, sentences like this, that are super specific and longer tail. Okay, that's how you start, and you just niche down. So be specific. Don't do lots and lots of different things. Always talk around one subject area, because after you've established yourself, you can then go on to broaden what you talk about, and what you're trying to optimize for. Right. As I said, there's so much stuff. This is, we're glancing over the top of this. There's a 6-week training course, which is going to be run by myself. If you're serious about creating customer attracting videos for your business and really getting to grips with using video for your business, it's a live online training over 6 weeks, coached by me 2 to 3 hours a week. I'll take you through all the aspects you need to know to be able to go away at the end of 6 weeks, having created your own almost template or production process, let's say, for creating customer generating videos. The next we're starting on the 18th of October, so that's pretty shortly. There is an early bird offer, which is $495 down from $645. If you go to entrepreneursvideomasterclass all one word.com, there's loads of details about the breakdown of the course and whatnot. So if you're really serious about wanting to make video work for you, and you want to invest in it, then I would love to have you along. There you go. There's the URL there. Anyway, that's enough of a pitch. So let's think about the basic research process that we've been through. So first up, absolutely, Google, do the predictive method that I showed you, and then do the same as well on YouTube, because it works the same way. And there'd be slightly different search returns coming back to you. So it's worth doing both. Get inspired by articles, by blogs. Look at the blog titles. How are they attracting your attention? Okay. And then think, well, how can I do that better? Look at, obviously, people also ask, and look at other aligned search terms and topics. So that is your research process, and where that fits within the whole video workflow. And kind of this is why that's why you need to, there's a lot to cover. Let's quickly go through this. Sorry about this. Getting too excited, you see. So it fits in. So there's the 4 pillars, like I said before. So the who, what, where, why type situation. You then obviously need to research and write. So that's topics, which is obviously the research bit. I've given you an insight into how you can start getting to grips with, what your audience are interested in, what they want to watch, and what's being talked about in your niche. So then you go on to the titles, which is an extension of that, really. So that's when you get involved with, how do you construct a really hooky title? Look at blog post titles. Anything in life, when you're going through, stopping the scroll, going, oh, hang on, that's interesting. Think to yourself, why have I just clicked on that? And save it somewhere. And just give yourself a bit of time to think about, what is it that's made me click on that? And that can be a thumbnail for a video, or an article, or you're in a news agent think about how they write headlines. Okay, just get inspiration from all of that kind of stuff. Then obviously you need to film and edit it. Was a whole nother kind of kit and caboodle with that. And then you need to get it seen. So you need to upload it to YouTube, and then you need to encourage people to view it. All of those elements are basically the video workflow. And as you can see, there's an awful lot that constitute all of these four bits of the workflow. All of that I will cover within that course. Okay, and obviously I'm doing lots of webinars here and there, but I really hope that you got a load of value from this. These are some tools that I use, and I will only recommend stuff I use. Descript, a really brilliant editing tool that's really speeds up editing. It allows you to edit in the form of a Word document almost. Absolute game changer for me. I absolutely love it. If you're going on YouTube and you want to make that work for you, you're going to need a tool like, there's two. There's a vidIQ, which is one I use, which I really love because I think the user interface is better. I find it easier to use. There's another one called TubeBuddy. There's free versions of both of those, but I would get one or other of them. Obviously, once you get more serious, you can then upgrade to the paid version, but they're very good. They tap into all the analytics that goes on YouTube, and they dish up stuff, suggestions, you know, titles, keywords, all of that stuff is all included within those packages. They make it very easy, and it's one place you go to when you are thinking about, you know, creating video content and how, you know, what titles are kicking off, what your audience are watching on other channels, all this sort of stuff. Wave.video is a platform where you don't even need a camera and you can start creating videos. It's a really, really feature rich, I should say, platform if you want to get going now. There is an editing part of it. You can create social ads off the back of it very easily. And in terms of if you want to start getting cracking, which I suggest you do, just with your phone, that playlist there, smartphone-video-for-business playlist, all about all the kit you need to make your smartphone work as a camera and to start creating videos. By the way, start now. Even if you don't upload anything, get practicing, get sort of forming those video creating muscles. You know, your first videos will be your worst videos. You just need to give yourself the grace to improve, and don't be too harsh on yourself. This is a massive learning curve, believe you me. It's been a massive learning curve for me. I've been doing it for 2.5 years. Obviously, I come from a TV background anyway, and I still do work in TV. So you might think, oh, well, I'd have found it easier to get in front of the camera. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why I like being behind the camera. So it is a bit of a weird thing, but you just got to, the best way of building your confidence on camera, and this is another thing we look at in the course, is by doing it, by practicing and just giving yourself the space and time to improve. Okay, and the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more confident you feel. I promise. How can I help you? Well, we do one-to-one consulting. I do training, obviously, small group training like the Entrepreneurs Video Masterclass. Also, we are a video production company, funnily enough, and we make stuff as well. Those are some links for you, and those are some helpful resources. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I know I've overrun slightly. I know we did start slightly late. Any other, I'm just going to scoot very quickly through the questions. Very quickly, save the chat. There we are. All good. Lots of people want the sheet, which is fantastic. Yes, exactly. Sarah Taylor Robinson saying, did all of my internal company videos using my iPhone. There's a guy actually on YouTube who's got something in the region of about 100, 120, I think, 1,000 followers. He's an electrician from Cambridge doing absolutely amazing things. And he started filming on his iPhone. He was editing on his on his laptop, which was iMovie, which comes free. He was doing that until they got to 45,000 subscribers. So do you need ESU Hill? Do you need expensive kit for videoing? No, you don't. Just use your phone. There are some free editing apps too. Have a look on Google. I could do another session all about the kind of, but there are apps, and there's Quick, which is a GoPro version, Quick, Q-U-I-K, great little thing. I think that costs $10 a year. For about that price, you can have a really fully if you're wanting to do everything on your mobile phone, you can film, you can edit, and you can upload all that whole workflow just on your phone. Amazing. SD. SD is standard definition. It's the resolution of the picture. 4K and HD, high definition. Most camera phones now are 1080p or 1080, which is high definition. If you're doing stuff on YouTube, obviously from a user perspective, user's experience, they want you to upload. Ideally, they will let you do SD, but it won't get as pushed. It won't get as optimized as HD or 4K. 4K though takes a lot of data. So if you're trying to do stuff on your phone, maybe not, because it will slow your phone down, especially if you've got a big long video that you're trying to chop on your phone. Background music in videos resulting in my videos being blocked. Right. It's because you've got copyright strikes, Floyd. Film somewhere that the background music isn't on, or tell them to turn it off. I mean, that's what I do. I spend my life when I'm on location asking people in bars and whatnot to turn extraneous music off, because there are YouTube, Google, and that they are very, very intelligent, and they will spot copyright infringements like that. Even, you know, I mean, I film concert films in my day job as well. And, you know, obviously we cut and we upload them to official channels on YouTube for the musicians that we're working for. And we have to tell YouTube that genuinely we were allowed to film the thing. We got commissioned to film it, because immediately they'll go, hang on, that's not from the management company or whatever, and they'll flag up a copyright infringement. Don't try and game this, because you get 3 strikes on YouTube. If they block you 3 times, you're off the platform and you can't get back on it. So basically the point is, if you want to use music within your videos, make sure it's rights cleared. And there's lots of it on the internet, but absolutely make sure, and it's your responsibility as a creator to make sure that it's cleared for being on your website, if it's on your website, or being on a YouTube channel, if it's on a YouTube channel. Okay, so copyright is a serious thing. Don't take it lightly. Again, if it's literally just atmospheric stuff, then I would say film your videos where there's not extraneous noise, because background noise is super, super distracting. That's why, and again, if you go onto the YouTube channel, there's lots of stuff about mics, personal mics. People need to be able to hear you clearly. If it's you plus a load of extraneous noise, literally within 3 or 4 seconds, people will switch off and disappear off your video. Lovely. Right, so they're all the questions. Ladies and gents, I'm massively overrun. I will let you get on with your day. I really, really hope that was super useful for you. And thank you so much for investing your time with us. I really, really appreciate it. And the most important thing is to go and act on what we were talking about. Go and do that research, think about who your audience is, and get into their headspace and start creating content for and about them. Have a lovely day. Best of luck. See you soon. Take care.